is what you're made of. You are perfect and pure, even if you're not sure. It's what you're made of. L-O-V-E, love.
I got the proof right here that our thoughts are prayers. No kidding. It's been proven that our... Oh, sorry, Mike. Hold on a second. Mike. How's this? There we go. I want to thank everybody again for such an incredible birthday celebration a couple of weeks ago. That was just fabulous. And I got so many good gifts and cards, fantastic gifts. One of them is this book from Chuck and Mary Ellen called Quantum Physics for Beginners. They didn't know I wasn't quite a beginner, so I'm enjoying this book tremendously. One of the things that it talks about in this book is how our thoughts are powerful tools for manifesting the world that we see. Wow, that sounds like unity teaching. That sounds like the 5 principles. That's principle number 3, isn't it? So Unity was teaching this before you guys. We've been teaching this a long time. But the wonderful thing about it is, when I read something like, the wave doesn't become a particle until someone observes it, I think, my thoughts are prayers. Did anybody get that? The wave doesn't become a particle. It's just a wave of energy. It's not a book or a body or anything until someone observes it. So I remembered this experience I had one time. I'm sorry, Wes is too tall. This thing's way over my head here. When I was recovering from some kind of illness, I was at my mom's house. I was on the couch. I remember my brother was sitting there in the chair across from me. And I was observing my body lying on the couch and recovering. And somehow I was sending healing thoughts to myself. I was healing myself. And lo and behold, I woke up the next day perfectly fine. That moment, now I had never heard stories like this before, but starting at that moment, I started hearing stories of people who were in hospital situations being operated on under anesthesia with observing themselves being operated on. It was like I was floating on the ceiling. I could see my body, I could see the doctors and the nurses, and they were working on me, and they did this and they did that. And somebody says, you could never have known that. You were under anesthesia. Oh my goodness. How did you know that? You were observing it from the state of pure consciousness, from your mind, not from your body. That's the observer. Guess what? Nothing in physical form exists without you. It takes an observer. It's not just there. It's there because you say it's there. Oh, I don't know. This is a stretch, isn't it? Yes. But I love to stretch. I love the adventure. The adventure continues. It's like beginner's mind. I love that it's quantum physics for beginners because I can go back to the fundamental premise that it takes an observer to make the physical realm what it is. Whatever you're looking at, it's there because you're looking at it. You need it to be there. You're saying it's there. It's an amazing thing. And what's even more amazing about this is it's a fundamental principle of new thought. That our thoughts are prayers. They're powerful and they're capable of shaping our experience in our life. We've always prayed. Human beings are praying animals. They've always sat and envisioned and thought about things before they made them manifest. You think the Bourne Bridge and the Sagamore Bridge are just going to replace themselves? You got to think about that. You've got to think hard about how that's going to work. And that thought's going to take some planning. More thought. You're going to have to call more people to share in your vision. You're going to have to draw it out, write it down, get a clear vision. You have to observe it very intensely and focus that intense energy. And then you're going to have to put your resources behind it to actually turn it into a physical thing. So everything's an idea until we take that idea and make it manifest. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. That's not this book. That's this book. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. You don't have to know anything about quantum physics. I just think it's fun, so thank you guys for that book. So the other thing is that I wanted to talk about today, that I want to include in the message today, is some concepts from this book, Spiritual Economics, by Eric Butterworth. He's like one of my all-time favorite New Thought Unity writers. And I'll get to him in a minute. The first thing I want to point out is our thoughts are powerful. Our thoughts are prayers or affirmative expressions of truth that manifest the good in our life. So the statement, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, still holds true today. It holds true in every situation, in every circumstance, for every person. Why is that true? Because it's spiritual law. Now, even if you don't believe in spiritual law, along comes quantum physics. And we'll show you that it's actually true in the universe. That everything's a possibility. It's the realm of infinite possibilities. And you're the one that brings the possibility into a finite expression of it. You are a powerful being. You are a super powerful being. Yes. And you know what? I love it. It changed my whole week. It changed my whole life. But when I forgot, I did forget for a couple of days. I just couldn't get it back. I was stuck in the suffering. This book, thank you guys, brought me back. I mean, I've been reading these books forever. And I believe them and I practice them. But somehow my mind had become clouded. So these didn't help me as much as a scientist telling me the same thing that the minister's telling me. Bring those two things together and you will never doubt the power of your mind again. You are a powerful being. This is exactly the power that Yeshua, Jesus, you call him, demonstrated. It's exactly the power that any spiritual healer demonstrates. It's exactly the power that every single master, spiritual master, has demonstrated throughout the history of humanity. So the most wonderful thing about these teachings is that they're eternal. Whoops. Was I already on that? Somebody helping me out? I pressed it by accident. There are no accidents. Some people say namaste, and some people say no mistakes. That's the wonderful thing about truth teaching. They're eternal. They never change. You can always put them into practice anytime you choose. It's always there for you to use. It's an eternal truth that your thoughts are prayers. Just pay attention to what you're thinking. So perhaps today we can choose again. If we're thinking the worst, if we've got all these negative scenarios running in our minds and negative, disastrous imagery and vision going on in our heads. One other thing I did was attempted to stay off of the internet. It's hard if you're working on the internet. But stay away from social media and the news for 3 days. Just a 3-day fast. And guess what? I started reading. There's something else you can do. Wow! I forgot all about that. I ran into Leonard the other day. He's reading too. And there's this book club here at Unity. They all read. Holy mackerel! I love it. Thank you. You can actually do that. You can pick up a book and read it. It's your choice. What a wonderful discovery. Because for a moment there, I thought the only world there was out there. What you see on that, well, now they're huge screens. What you see on the TV, what you see in the social media, and that becomes your world. And it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller because the algorithm is sending you information that it thinks you like. So you're like a rat in a maze pressing the button and getting the dopamine fix of who you like and who you don't like is winning the game. And oh, good, we're winning. Oh, my God. Oh, we're losing. I got to win again. And then it's this never-ending cycle of trying to get that dopamine fix. The information that only sparks that chemical in your brain. It's very interesting. And it took a little while to actually focus enough to read something like quantum physics. I mean, it's like, wow, I got to focus on this. Because it's very deep thinking and it's very involved in thinking about things in a much more expanded way. And I love it. I love it. So I might sound like the guy on Reading is Wonderful or something, but pick up a book this week. Pick up a book and make sure it's something that contains a little universal truth. Because those truth teachings never change. So Eric Butterworth wrote this other book called Spiritual Economics, which I've been reading a lot and I've read more of it this week. I went back and I have a lot of it highlighted because I did a class on this book. It's so amazing because it's not about collecting money. It's not about succeeding in the world. It's about opening yourself up to becoming a flow for the energies of the universe, the divine good. And when you're trapped in accumulation, you're blocking your good. And so you never get enough and you want to accumulate more. And it's never enough. It's never, ever going to satisfy you. But when you are grateful, like today's daily word was asking us to be, something happens. You open up a gate for the flow. When you're giving, you open up a gate for the flow. It's very interesting. I'll talk more about giving in the next couple of weeks. We've got an incredible gift of a speaker coming to us at the end of this month, Jackie Woodside, who's going to talk all about your vibes around money and around giving and receiving and expressing yourself in the world and having a consciousness of abundance and prosperity. And she's actually, in conjunction with some very famous people, made a movie. She has a new movie about it. And we're going to be screening that. We'll be watching that Saturday, October 25th. And she'll be our speaker on the 26th. So I'll talk more about prosperity at that point. But Eric Butterworth says the only way to achieve true prosperity is to take charge of your mind. Take charge of what you're thinking. Because your thoughts are prayers. On a very basic level, if you're thinking, I don't have enough, I can't afford it, that's your reality. That's going to be your reality. I have to save because I can't afford it, and I can't give, and you're blocking your good. The only way is to take charge of your mind as a divine expression of God here on earth, as a divine expression of eternal love. I give all that I am, all that I have, and all that I expect to have to the process of the transformation of my mind from separation to oneness. I give all that I have, all that I expect to have, to extending more love in this world. I used to say, at the end of every day, I want my wallet to be empty because I want to have given it all away. And the next day, more will come. Every day, I used to do that before we used credit cards. We actually did use paper bills. I made sure my wallet was empty at the end of the day. And if there was something in there, I'd find somebody to give it to. Or I'd buy something and go give it away. Because there's no reason to hold on to that stuff. We used to say you can't take it with you when you pass from this realm. But you actually do take it with you as accumulated karma. So don't hold on to it. You're holding on to something that you're going to have to come back here and use that energy. It's energy, it's potential that's not being used. When you accumulate, you're just blocking the potential energy. It's there in potential. You have it in your bank account, or you have it in your drawer, or stuffed under your mattress, I don't know. You're saving it up for something. But guess what? You're blocking the flow. It's not being used. It's sitting there. It's potential. And it's not being realized. So let's go back now to our thoughts and to prayer. What I want to say is when you take charge of your mind, you fill it with divine ideas, you enter into this realm of authentic affirmative prayer. You're giving it away. You command your spiritual powers. And the more energy you put into giving it away, the more it flows through you. And I'm talking about energy. But that energy is always manifest in a way that is most useful. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. And the more people you can share that energy with, the more light you experience, the more love you experience, the more healing you experience, the happier you are, the greater your life is. And you know it. You just know it. There's a song that we sing sometimes here, written by Jim Rosemergy, along with our dear friend Sto Good, entitled "My Life is a Prayer." And when we really understand that our thoughts are prayers, and we diligently focus our thought energy on truth, our life does indeed become a prayer. But when we don't focus our mind on truth, our life becomes chaotic. It goes in various directions, and we don't know where we're going to land. We don't have a focus for our mind, and so we don't have a focus for our life. We just get more of the same. The old projections of fear, anger and hatred and glorification of the ego. And that's when you think you're successful, when you're feeling glorified in your ego. Isn't that interesting? That's success as the human being might define it. But it's not success at all. Flowing in the divine river of miracles. That's what I call success. Flowing in that divine sea of love. That's success. Flowing with happiness and joy, peace and prosperity. Surrounded with people who are filled with that peace and that joy as well. Knowing that you are loved and that your love is received by others. That's true prosperity. True prosperity is allowing yourself to be that flow, be an open conduit for the flow of love and divine energies. So Eric Butterworth also says the human spirit has its source in the divine fountain, which must be permitted to flow freely. And he breaks down this thing that we used to call evil. I call it the ego validating impossible learning. Because he says anything that blocks that flow of divine energy is evil, and anything that supports it is good or is an expression of God. So it's not the traditional view of good and evil. It's restricting the flow and allowing the flow. When you restrict the flow, you're in dense, compacted energy, and it's not moving. When it's flowing, miracles are flowing through you. And something wonderful happens. You start to feel a part of every single thing in the universe. Went for a walk last week. Nobody showed up. It was great. I had the decision, do I go home or do I go for a walk? Well, I'm here. It was a gorgeous day, and I was walking very slowly that day, and I felt depressed. I didn't know why. And I didn't know why I apologize if I was a little intense last week. I felt on fire, and there was a literal fire going on at 10:30, probably 11:30 Eastern time, because I think is Michigan an hour behind us? Are they the same time? Same time? So it was exactly the time I was preaching. And boy, did I started burning inside. Really, I felt this heat. I wanted to turn up the air conditioning. I was so hot. I was jumping around, and I don't know what I was saying. Something about being an expression of the divine. But what happens when you don't know that? Things like that happen. When you don't know that those people are divine as well and part of God, those kinds of things happen. So I went for a walk, and I was walking along very slowly, just feeling my feelings. And I didn't know that had happened, by the way. I was saying, I don't know what is going on with me. I'm usually a really happy person, but now I'm by myself, and I get to feel my feelings, and I'm depressed. Like, what's going on? I'm in a beautiful place. It's a beautiful day. And I'm like, okay, let's just slow it down even more. It's like mindful walking. Noticing what you're feeling. Noticing all of a sudden my thoughts. I could go home and focus on my feelings and my thoughts and know that I'm in charge of them. Then I see the news and I go, that's what's going on. Because I'm connected to those folks pretty intimately. If you imagine, that's your church burning and those are your amazing friends getting shot. I can't imagine that. If someone started shooting at you, how I would feel. But this is how I believe every spiritual being feels. Because you feel you're connected to everyone. You feel the same for those folks that you would feel about your own family. And you are my family, by the way. And so I was able to handle it because I had already gone through the feeling of it, the process of those feelings and thoughts in my mind. And I was in a place where I control my response. So I was in a place of power. A lot of people are feeling powerless right now. And I'm going to tell you, this works. Getting mindful about your thoughts and your emotions and taking charge of your own mind and your own emotions, that's what's going to get you through this time. And not only that, it's going to help everyone else get through these times. And not only that, it's going to help evolve the human race so we don't have to deal with these times anymore. You got to believe that, because we are evolving. It's up to you how fast you want that evolution to go. It's up to you what you want to observe, going back to quantum physics. If we can observe what's happening with the human race, or what's happening in our country, or what's happening with us personally from above the battleground, which we can do. I did it when I was 20 years old. I healed myself from observing myself, from spirit, my body, from my true self. We can do this with the world at large. And it's an adventure. It's a beautiful thing to watch the power of your mind and to watch the healing in action. Just view it from above the battleground. Not down in the battle, because nobody ever wins a fight. Ever. Whoever's in that fight, both parties lose. Or all parties lose. Nobody wins a battle. Nobody wins a war. Nobody wins a fight. Everybody wins when you are looking down from the battlefield, down from above the battlefield, from your true self. We can heal this. But we first got to heal ourselves. Got to heal our minds. Get our hearts right. Am I still pressing this going on? Sorry about that. We got to let that fountain of divine energy flow and know that we are individual expressions of the divine. Now, those are merely words, but they're words which express a divine idea. This idea is one of universal truth. So it's a thought you can hold in your mind, and it will manifest after its kind. It's a thought that has power. Unless you use your mind to make these words real for you, I am an individual expression of the divine, you will continue in the world that you have now. You have to use your mind to make these words real. Continue to affirm the truth, or it won't be your experience. But when you do affirm it, it becomes your experience, because in truth, it's already who you are. It's already the truth of you. If you continue to hold thoughts in your mind which verify your separate self-identity and this world of illusion and confusion, then you'll believe that that's your reality. See, your higher self's trying to contact you. It's trying to communicate with you. Your Christ self, your light being that's within you, is trying to tell you something here today. You're a powerful being. You're an observer that can observe the truth in any situation and heal it. You have to look at it from that perspective. We've been looking at it from the other perspective, trying to control the universe with our limited thinking, trying to control the universe by judging, by hating, by trying to win the battle. I'm going to get in this fight, I'm going to win this battle. No, nobody wins a fight, ever. It takes two. This is Wayne Dyer now. I didn't make a slide because it just popped into my head. But it takes two to perpetuate a conflict. In any situation, it takes two. You have to not participate. Resist not evil. I know it's a hard teaching, but that's the teaching of my way, Shor Yeshua. Resist not evil. But become the powerful God being that you are. There's no resistance there. It's the same as Tai Chi, Karate, Kung Fu. If there's all that negative energy coming at you, you can redirect it. You can use it. You can use that energy for positive, affirmative, incredible manifestation of good. And I'm asking you to do so. I'm going to tell you, this is the most important message you'll ever hear. Your thoughts are powerful. Your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts and your emotions together create who you think you are. If you seek a higher consciousness, that state of peacefulness, every thought becomes a prayer. And higher consciousness, heaven on earth, becomes your true identity. And it becomes your reality. No longer is the place of suffering your reality. The place of peace becomes your reality. And then you share that reality with others. Boy, I could just keep going and going and going. Thanks for the book, guys. It's their fault. You get a 3-hour message when you give me a book like that. But the last thing I want to say, is the universe responds to your vibration. It has nothing to do with the words. It all depends on the frequency of energy generated by your emotional, mental activity. Someone said, actually this is like 3 people. They put together quotes from 3 different people, and they said it was Einstein. But it wasn't actually him. So I just put anonymous, because I'm the one who's going to tell it to you right now. Everything is energy. Just come back to that all the time. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. When you are being peace, you're going to have a world of peace, and you're going to invite everyone into your world. It can be no other way. It's not actually philosophy, it's physics. It's quantum physics. I love you guys. Have an incredible week.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at unityonCapeCod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.